Hi everybody. 2 nights ago I was like sitting in my bed and all of a sudden every single memory of everything like traumatic that's ever happened to me just started like flowing at me. So many flashbacks, so many thoughts. Like, my body just felt disgusting. I literally felt like I just wanted to rip my skin off because of how disgusting I felt, like thinking about what I've been through. I've talked about before how I have like complex PTSD. So there's PTSD where kind of more based on like little events within a singular event. Does that make sense? But complex PTSD is like when you constantly have traumatizing things that happen to you that it completely changes your brainwave, basically. I think I have this book. Let me see if I can find a good definition of it. CPTSD is a more severe form of post-traumatic stress disorder. It is delineated from this better-known trauma syndrome by 5 of its most common and troublesome features, which is emotional flashbacks, toxic shame, self-abandonment, a vicious inner critic, and social anxiety. I also feel like having it is another form of trauma because you're constantly self-sabotaging, but you're constantly letting these events that have occurred to you replay in different situations in your life. I think this is like a crazy thing that I've thought of, is that a lot of us have fear of abandonment from things in childhood, so we like do anything and we hold on to those people around us. And it's so crazy because we're fearing abandonment, but we're abandoning ourselves in the process, right? We're abandoning who we are, we're abandoning what we need, our boundaries, everything, because we don't want to lose the other people, because like we identify so much with those other people that we don't know who we are without them. Everything that you fear when you're in trauma states, you do those things to yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? And you try to compensate it by looking outwards for all of those things. In my relationship, like, I'm constantly questioning everything and feeling like these like horrible senses of like things that happened to me in the past happening again, or things that I suspected were happening again, and I act out and I react to things in different ways, and I feel like it's so mentally straining to the people around me. Also, you have to see it from the person that's going through it, like their perspective, because like it's so mentally straining. It is so debilitating to live in this fight or flight all the time, because basically like when somebody goes through trauma, if it doesn't go resolved, or like you're not getting help for it like regularly, your fight or flight system is kicked in. So like you have that, either you constantly avoid things or you're constantly like aggressive and confronting things all the time and like trying to protect yourself. And they're both like ways of protecting yourself, obviously, but I think personally for me, I have more of the flight, just trying to constantly escape. And I've talked about how like I've had addictions, and even that night, like when I was in bed freaking out and stuff, like what do I do? Like I have to take something. And I was like, Enza, like I can't do this. I can't put myself back into that spot because I'm just gonna keep going down this downward spiral. When you have things like complex PTSD, it is like you're constantly trying to survive. What is not stressful for other people can be stressful for you, and then when you tell them, it's like, why are you so overwhelmed all the time? Why are you like this? I feel like I make a big deal out of everything because everything just feels so big to me. Everything just feels so overwhelming all the time, even if it's something small. I'm not trying to make my life harder, but subconsciously I am, because that's just part of the self-sabotage that comes with it, the self-abandonment that comes with it. There's going to be people that are going to be there for you, and there's going to be people that decide not to. And it's important, especially when you have abandonment issues, to realize they're not abandoning you, they're just not meant to be there, right? They're not meant to be people that are part of your path, because it's going to trigger those things. Like, let's just say that, right? I have to constantly remind myself, things happen to me. Like, I cannot hate myself for who I am and how I react to things, because things happen to me. And yes, I can still hold on to things because they have shaped who I am, right? The way I react, the way that I respond to things, these are all trauma-based. And I cannot hate myself for that. Like, I'm so tired of hating myself for feeling, right? Just like, you have to constantly remind ourselves that, because we felt these things and we went through these things, and you cannot completely disregard it or like hide it under a different personality. Like, you cannot continue to put yourself down, because you're just putting yourself back into that place. You just need to learn how to slowly accept that these things happened, and accept that, okay, I react these ways and I need to change it, right? I'll show you guys the 3 books that I'm working on, actually. So I have the self-love workbook, which I'm not really good at, thank you. Like, I'll just show you an example. There's like a coping toolkit, bad day band-aid, I don't know what that means. There's like a whole chapter on self-esteem and mindfulness, things like that. And then I have my DBT workbook, because I react from emotional states and I'm not very mindful of things. And then I have my OCD workbook, which is a whole other video, because I have terrible OCD. You know what, I'm going to do a video for literally each symptom, just talk about how it feels, and obviously like my personal experience, but also just like talking about how painful it feels and like the shitty reality of it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Love you, bye.